Good evening, everyone. It is 6:30 p.m. We're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. Where is my header? But it's not complete. Oh, here we go. Okay. Notice is hereby given that a regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks, Texas will be held on Thursday, June 10th, 2021 at 6:30 p.m. at 22870 Priest Road, Sandy Oaks, Texas, and by telephonic video conferencing, which will be live streamed and accessible to the public as provided below, for the purpose of considering the following agenda items. All agenda items are subject to action. In an effort to advance the public health goal of limiting face-to-face meetings, also called social distancing, to slow the spread of coronavirus, there will be no in-person public access to the meeting. In accordance with the order of the Office of the Governor issued March 16, 2020, the City of Sandy Oaks will provide a live stream video and telephonic access of the meeting to the public. That information is available on the agenda that is posted on the website. The public will be permitted to offer public comments telephonically or by audio as provided by the agenda and as permitted by the presiding officer during the meeting by signing up with the city secretary at least 2 hours in advance of the meeting, or by emailing cityclerk@cityofsandyoaks.com, or by calling 210-607-0834. Written comments may be submitted to the city secretary up to 2 hours before the meeting and will be provided to the city council for their consideration. A recording of the telephonic meeting will be made and will be available to the public in accordance with the Texas Public Information Act upon written request. Thank you, Ms. Shelton.
You're welcome.
Can we get a quorum call? Where's my city sec? Oh, there you are.
Mayor Pro Tem Fillinger,
Here, ma'am.
Alderman Bricken,
Here.
Alderman Rapino,
Here.
Alderman Crickmer,
Here.
Alderwoman Palente. Here. And there is a quorum present.
Thank you. We'll move on to item 2, citizens to be heard. Do we have any?
No.
Okay, we will go ahead and pull that one from the agenda. I remembered my other item.
Oh, good.
Item 3, mayor and administrator announcements and updates. I have 3 items I want to mention. One is the annual audit. That is, we have received our preliminary report. There are some adjusting entries that have to be done, so I'm working through those right now. Hopefully by our next meeting, we should be able to present that for council to consider. Second item has to do with the Citizen Complaint Review Board. That application process ended on the 28th of May. We had 3 people who submitted for that, and we are in the process of running through the qualifications on that, and we'll be contacting them in the coming week. Third item has to do with open meetings. Governor Abbott has published something related to a change in allowing public back into our public meetings. I don't have all the details in front of me, but that will be changing, and we'll have enough notice to publish it or let people know beforehand. Okay. Item 4, consent agenda. All matters listed under consent agenda are considered routine by the City Council of the City of Sandy Oaks and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. We have 2 items. Item A, approve the minutes from the May 27th, 2021 regular City Council meeting. And item B, approve the April 2021 invoice number 1275 from Casan and Ortiz, not to exceed $3,060.
Ma'am, I believe there's a typo on the meetings, so.
Which
can
one? The 27th?
The 27th, can we discuss that separately?
We certainly can.
All right, then I move we approve the item B on the consent agenda.
Okay. Anyone want to second
I'll
that?
second. Oh, go ahead, Johnny.
Is that going to be Crickmer?
Yes.
We have a motion by Alderman Fillinger and also by Alderman Crickmer to approve item A on the consent. I'm sorry, item B on the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that was unanimous. Okay, we'll move back to item A. that we're pulling for discussion. Alderman Fillinger, you indicated there was some typos.
Yeah, item 5, paragraph D, states Alderman Rupino made a motion to approve the 3 police officers appointment to the San Diego Police Department requested by Chief Lopez. That needs to be changed to 2 police officers, does it not?
It does.
I'll try to get you next week.
Try to get an extra one. Just because you put it in the minutes doesn't make it happen.
Yeah, and that's only.
Okay.
That's all that.
So with that, would you care to make a motion?
I
Yeah,
don't
well,
know.
let me ask Ms. Ortiz real quick. Do we need to have a separate motion to approve this change to the minutes before item A is approved or considered?
Yes, there should be a motion to make that change the minutes and then a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Perfect. Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion to strike 3, replacing it with 2.
And I'll second that.
Okay. We have a motion by Alderman Fillinger and a second by Alderman Rapino to strike the word 3 in the minutes for May 27th, item 5D. Replace that with the word 2, the number 2. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion was unanimous. And now the remainder of the consent agenda, please. Or is that it?
That's it. A and B.
That's what I'm,
Now you need to make a motion to approve. Now there needs to be a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Okay.
That was just for the change.
who would like to make?
I make a motion
Okay,
that
there we
we
go.
approve the minutes from the April 27th meeting
As amended.
as amended.
May 27th.
May 27th meeting as amended. Thank
I'll
you.
second.
Okay. So we have a motion by Alderman Fillinger and a second by Alderman Rapino to approve the minutes from May 27th as amended. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion was unanimous. What I'd like to do, I think we have a guest on the call with us. And what I'd like to do is move to item 7. And I'm sorry, Catherine, I cannot see from way back here. Is Robert Reyna on the line?
Yes, Mayor, I'm here.
Hi, there you are. Okay, now I see your name. And I see Alex as well.
Yes.
Okay,
That's
perfect.
correct.
So we'll go ahead and move to item 7A. Presentation on Bear County's requalification process as an urban county for continued participation in U.S. Housing and Urban Development Community Development Block Grant. I don't know what that means. Grant, Home Investment Partnerships Program and Emergency Solutions Grant Program for fiscal years 2022 through 2024. Let me get back to that. So what I did is I reached, or I had Mr. Reyna, and I cannot read her last name. Is Alvarez? Okay. I asked them to join the meeting to be able to discuss or answer questions that anyone here on council would have related to this particular agenda item. There were some very interesting things that were presented to me in my discussion with these 2 individuals. One of them was that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Robert and Alex, but if I'm not mistaken, what was shared was that if we were to opt back in, we would be immediately available to utilize Meals on Wheels within our community, or it would go into effect in that fiscal year 2022.
It would go into effect once the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development certifies the cooperation agreements. So the city of Sandy Oaks would have to be certified as a participating city. So if you were to vote to ratify the agreement tonight, it would have to go to Commissioner's Court for approval, Bear County Commissioner's Court. Then we'd forward it to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and they would certify the city of Sandy Oaks as a participating city. And not only would you be eligible for San Antonio Food Bank projects, Meals on Wheels, but you'd also be eligible for homeowner rehab through Merced Housing Texas, and you wouldn't have to apply for that. Your citizens would automatically be eligible.
Okay. And the program start date is October of 2021. Is that correct?
That is the start date of the program year. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. One of the other things that was mentioned in our discussion was the fact that the programs through the Bexar County CDBG or the HUD program, there are no match programs. So everything is funded 100%. Is that correct?
There is no match requirement. And so our average allocation, just take for example, for street infrastructure projects is about $300,000. So the county would contribute $300,000 in CDBG funds, and the city would not have to contribute any matching funds whatsoever. So it'd be at no cost to the city's general fund.
Okay. Does anyone here have questions? I
We
do
can
know.
undertake,
Oh, go ahead, sir.
we can undertake a broad range of community development activities with our community development block grant or CDBG. One of the stipulations is that right now there's 4 census tracts in the city of Sandy Oaks, 2 of which are eligible for CDBG investment. So as long as we work in those low and moderate income census tracts within the city, we can undertake a whole host of community development initiatives.
So I wanted to talk about the cooperative agreement. Is this something that we would have to approve as presented, or could we opt in 2023?
My recommendation would be to opt in now, because by the time it takes effect, you could apply for grant funds for the next program cycle. So my recommendation would be to try to get in now while you can.
It is opting in and a next fiscal year an option.
It gets a little more complicated, but it is an option.
Okay, and my reason for bringing that up is, and I mentioned this to you and Alex earlier when we spoke, we have been working with GrantWorks and have actually applied for a grant that falls within that 2022 program year. And if we opt into Bexar County, we lose that. And we've already done the application. Granted, there's match money associated with that, but it's not something that we, would have major heartburn over. But I would much rather, my preference is to continue with the program that we've already done for that particular application. But again, that puts us in an awkward position because it's an either or. And I just wanted to make sure, I certainly am agreeable to what the county is doing. And I think that we could leverage that, but I'm not comfortable doing it for the 2022 cycle. That's why I was asking, could we do it as a different time?
So are those also CDBG funds that you applied for?
They are through TDA, Texas Department of Agriculture.
Department of Agriculture. Okay. I'm not sure if there's any reason why we couldn't do both. I don't think applying for Texas Department of Agriculture would also preclude you from applying for CDBG.
Actually,
that's something that you can.
I take that back. Cassandra, was I mistaken on that? I was thinking these were CDBG funds that we had applied for.
They are through the Texas Department of Agriculture, but they are CDBG funds.
Okay.
Okay, so that is a little bit of a game changer. And, another thing that we could potentially explore we might have to get with our the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, our HUD rep, to see if you guys can ratify the cooperation agreement under the condition that you don't apply for funding until the next program cycle. So that way you are a participating city and we can go ahead and get you certified, but you just wouldn't apply for funding yet.
Wow. So I know that Alex and I have spoken very candidly. I have spoken very candidly to Alex, to put it that way, about my feelings on the Bexar County CDBG. Nothing against the two of you, because I don't believe we worked together before. But I can't in good faith do this on a wish and a promise. I think it puts our, I'm certainly willing to entertain it for future years, but I don't know that opting in for including 2022 into it, I think that may create a technicality that could potentially cause us to lose the application that we've already submitted. And it's our very first application ever. We've never applied for a grant before. And the GrantWorks worked very hard with us on getting that done. If we could change this to be 2023, then I myself would be more comfortable with that.
So that would have to happen at a later time, and there's a separate process for that. So this grant that you applied for via GrantWorks, do you know when you'll hear back as to whether or not you received it?
I wanted to say that the selection was in October.
May I ask how much you've applied for?
350,000.
Okay. So it's something that we can certainly explore in the future, Mayor.
Okay.
So maybe next year. I understand your concerns regarding applying for both grants, and I apologize for your experiences with CDBG in the past. That was before Alex and I were with the program. But
No, I understand that. I understand that.
It's a fantastic program, and we work with a lot of different cities. Right now, there's 16 participating cities, including some of your neighbors, which are Somerset and City of Von Army. And just a fun fact, I think we've repaved almost every street in the city of Somerset. So it's a phenomenal program, especially for smaller cities with limited budgets.
That would be correct. So I'll leave it to the council members if y'all have any additional questions for Robert or Alex.
No.
Yes, no?
No.
Okay. Well, then we can go ahead and
What's your recommendation?
well, my thought is that we have invested the time and the effort and really worked GrantWorks hard on our behalf to get to this point.
What are we losing if we don't? What are we losing by not joining?
Well, you can't miss what you haven't had, so we're not losing anything. We're losing an opportunity for potentially, there is no guarantee with any of these with any of these federally funded programs that guarantees we get anything. It's still an application process and a qualification process that we have to go through. So
You said something about Meals on Wheels.
well, that is one of the things that we would be eligible for. Regardless, we wouldn't have to apply for that. We would benefit from that from being a member of that of the Bexar County.
People here already get that, don't they?
No.
Oh, I thought some did.
Well, we have food programs through various organizations, including the food bank. But the Meals on Wheels would be tremendously helpful because we do have a number of stay-at-home people, elderly people. It would be nice to be able to have those delivered to them, but it's not something I think we can do right now. That's the one thing that did concern me, that the risk that we would lose. But again, we don't have it, so we're not losing it per se. We're just not able to take advantage of it.
Okay.
Somebody at the door?
Mayor, may I ask a question of Robert, Cassandra Ortiz, City Attorney? So under the HUD program and the county's agreement, it already, I mean, it specifies that the city can't even, it may not apply for a state grant under the CDBG. So are we already ineligible for at least the 2022 year because the city's already submitted that application, made that application for the state funds?
I think it would preclude you definitely from receiving those funds. So we couldn't receive both of those funds, but I think applying is a gray area. But if you didn't accept the funds, you would certainly be eligible for CDBG if you ratified the agreement tonight.
Okay, thank you.
So, Ms. Ortiz, does that help in this discussion or not? Because and the reason that we're even talking about this tonight is that there is a deadline, and Robert, correct me if I'm wrong, it's next week that y'all had to have this information back in order to present it for the county commissioners?
That is correct.
Okay. So from our perspective, this is our opportunity to discuss this.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Just looking at the notice from HUD and the language in the contract, it looks like we're already ineligible for 2022, or even if we enter and ratify the contract, it looks like we may already be in breach if we've applied for that grant money already, just the application itself. But if he's saying it's if Robert's saying it's a gray area, then yeah, I just don't want to be in any sort of trouble with the county or any type of liability with the county because we've already applied for those funds and we've reached this agreement with the county for the CDBG program.
And again, Robert, I personally, from my perspective, if we could exclude 2022 from the agreement, that I personally would feel better about it. I wouldn't really have any issues with moving forward on this.
Yeah, so what we'll probably have to do is come back next year with the new agreement because it's done basically on a year-by-year basis. So there's a separate process for opting in at a later time.
Okay. Any other questions from council? Okay. Would anyone care to make a motion?
I move we table this until next year, man.
I'll second.
So we have a motion by Alderman Fillinger and a second by Alderman Rapino to table this item.
I'd like to see this readdressed maybe in May of next year.
Okay.
It probably means we won't be able to apply for any more CBDG grants if we want to do this next year.
Exactly.
Well, but if we agree with it next year, we'll be part of the county program in
Exactly.
2023.
Yeah.
But it would put us in the same position next year if we push it out far enough.
Except we won't have to make application to through TDA
The way
for
we
the 2023 program.
right.
We can work through our precinct commission.
Am I correct in understanding that although there are some lofty numbers here of money and benefits, that there's no guarantee we get any of it?
Right.
There is no guarantee.
Okay, so
That's correct.
we're trading off potential two in the bush for one in the hand.
Something like that,
Okay.
yes.
Well,
Actually, we wouldn't have any in hand either because there's no guarantee we would get anything from them. either.
Exactly. So we have on a motion on the table right now. Alderman Fillinger made a motion and Alderman Rapino second to table this agenda item till May of, we'll put it May 2022. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion is unanimous. Alex and Robert, I really do appreciate you guys joining us this evening. And we'll talk after because I'd like to be a little more proactive earlier on this. And let's see what we can set up for perhaps next year.
I look forward to that, Mayor. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and with that, I'm going to pull item 7B. Okay, let's move back up here to item 5, financial and budget report. The income and expenses will be reported by City Clerk Charlotte Rabe and possible discussion and/or action.
The beginning balance was $256,641.84. Checks and payments of $86,579.76. Deposits of $77,449.35. Leaving us with an ending balance of $247,511.43.
Any comments or questions from council?
If not, I move that we accept the budget report as presented.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Rapino and a second by Alderman Puente to approve the financial report as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion is unanimous. Move on to item 6A under Police Department. It's a new heading. Item A, updates and announcements from Chief Lopez with possible discussion and action. Do you have any general announcements, sir?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we'll move on to item B. Presentation of monthly report from Chief Lopez with possible discussion and/or action.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the council.
Morning.
I mean, afternoon, sorry. My days run together. As for our police department report for the month of May, I do apologize for the court defense in cases those numbers weren't out. So for traffic stops for the month of May was 74 traffic stops were conducted, 76 citations were issued, and 36 warnings were also given as well. We had 14 arrests
Oh,
for
my.
the month of May. We're quite busy that month. Looking a little bit down, possession of drug paraphernalia was one there. And then civil matters, 3 civil matters, calls of service, 3 disturbances as well. 3 information reports, 1 theft, 1 welfare concern, 2 assist other agencies, 1 shots fired, 2 calls for threats, 1 burglary of a vehicle, 5 CLV junk vehicles, either warnings or citations. And then we also had 1 missing child was also found as well. And then screwed down all the way was 1 criminal trespass given out for the month of May. And for, if you look at the next page for the arrest, as I said, we had 14 arrests. We had 9 SAPD warrants of those arrests, 2 county warrants. And then if also you're looking for an arrest for assault to public servant, also for another assault on a public servant and interference with public duties. Those particular suspects are still pending other charges as well. So those are pending.
So basically, this number 14, which is quite a bit higher than previous months, only represents 1 case or two people who are actually in Sandy Oaks internal. The rest of them were externally generated.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, it looked like climate spiked, and then I realized, no, okay,
No,
we just import the criminals.
they're visitors. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
And good job on, it's a lot of work. And I do want to comment about the arrest piece of this. It is a very time-consuming piece of their job. There's a lot of paperwork that goes into that, and it takes time for them to, you know, they have to hold them, they have to process them, they have to fill out the paperwork, they have to transport them. So it's a lot of time involved in those arrests.
Let me make a comment.
You may.
I want to congratulate the marshal
We don't have one anymore.
The chief.
for changing that stupid protect and deter to protect and serve. That was a good job. I like that part.
Yes, sir. That was on my list to change immediately. So
That wasn't it wasn't yours originally.
no, by no
No.
means.
No, I know.
But thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, item C, discuss and or possible action on purchasing one ballistic shield with viewpoint from Battle Steel at a cost of $499.98. I would like to say he was nickel and diming me to death, but there's a little more than nickels and dimes involved here. Would you explain, please, why this subject came up? What was the situation that brought this about?
On this particular, what brought this piece of equipment to our attention is because SAPD recently had a shooting in their jurisdiction, and unfortunately, those two individuals reside in our city. And so at that time, the information that was provided to us on this active shooting with a person very much went to the hospital, was shot in the face. The information that was provided to us. So we get to the house itself. Obviously, a weapon was involved, shots fired to make contact with these individuals. We had to wait on county to arrive before myself and another deputy engage in these individuals. Obviously, we don't know what's going on in these houses. So to go straight hands-on with no type of protection puts any officer at grave risk, considering the information that was given to us. Luckily, everything worked out well. The two suspects were detained, and SAPD wind up coming a little bit later to take over the investigation. So, time is of the essence, and to be able to use that equipment would have went a little bit faster, but the downtime to wait for an officer to have that shield to wait on, because there's a lot of things that taking the unknowns on these type of scenario situations. So that was.
And also, domestic violence calls can be one of the most dangerous calls that you guys respond to. So, and I do want to also share, this is an old story, but it kind of reveals the relevance of why we're having this discussion here. There was a time, it's been over a year ago, I think, where a suspect was taken into custody for breaking and entering in a home, and I think he was impaired and was combative. And our officers only had handcuffs, and they could not get control of this individual because he was kicking. We had no leg irons. Well, we now have leg irons because remember, we're a brand new department. There's things, I'm sure there's more stuff that we're going to be needing that we don't know what we're going to need. So these type of things are going to come up from time to time. And I think officer safety should be paramount for all of us. Because, We've worked hard to get the crew together that we've got. We don't want to lose
I got
anybody.
2 of these. Do you want 2 or just 1?
He just wants one.
Oh, okay.
Well, that was my question, is one enough?
I mean, I prefer 2, you know.
Can we do one now and let's budget next year for
Sure.
another?
That's
I
fine.
want a SWAT tank.
I think the government has those for free. Let's see what I can do for you.
I mean, one's better than nothing.
That's what I'm
you know,
thinking.
like I said, it doesn't take too much, but obviously, you know, I'm not going to be picky. But yeah, that's definitely.
And, you know, 2 would be nice. You know, there may come a time, depending on how big the department gets, where we may need more.
But I worry that 1 presents a problem in that if it's a serious enough matter and the marshal, the chief goes out with a deputy and one of us has got the shield, the other one's a target.
No. I don't know how they operate, but I'm pretty sure they would be able to cover.
It's only protects against this.
Okay, anyone have any additional questions on item C?
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I do too.
Well, then make a
Make a
motion.
I think 2 is a better idea.
Not yet. I'm trying to control
Make a
the,
motion that we accept the bid for not more than $500 for the ballistic shield with viewport level 3A 36 by 20 for
Second.
the Sandy Oaks Police Department.
okay, so we have a motion by Alderman Crickmer and a second by Alderman Fillinger.
Plus shipping. Sorry.
So what
Not
is,
to exceed
you better give me a different,
$500, $600. Excuse me.
okay,
They're light.
okay. So we have a motion by Alderman Crickmer and a second by Alderman Fillinger to approve the purchase of 1 ballistic shield at a cost not to exceed $600.
I confirm that Alderman Dillinger seconded the 600 because he's
Ah.
seconded the 5.
You did?
Yeah, second the amended motion, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that motion is unanimous. Okay. Okay, Ray, you getting that toy? Okay, item D. Discuss and possible action on purchasing 1 command law enforcement officer user license at 12 months for $300 from Cologix. So each vehicle, each officer has to have a license to use the software. The equipment is in each vehicle, but each officer has to have their own credentials, and that's what this is. This is a license agreement for the in-vehicle,
Reporting system.
thank you. And so we knew this was coming because we added an additional officer. So that's all this is just a formality to have this approved.
I'll make a motion to approve the license for the Command Leo user license for 12 months
Okay,
for $310 to cover any handling charges.
I'll second that.
okay, we have a motion by Alderman Rapino and a second by Alderman Puente to approve purchasing 1 user license from Cologix not to exceed $310. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, that motion is unanimous. Don't spend that $10 on a medal. I know what you're gonna do.
Thank you, Council. I really appreciate that. Like, as we move and continue, as we continue to move forward, you know, I can't thank y'all enough. You know,
Well, we can't thank you enough. I mean, you've done a phenomenal job for what we needed. You're exactly what we needed to come in here and get things running. So
I appreciate that. It can always, like I always tell you, it can always. be better.
always get better,
Thank you.
but we got to start somewhere.
Yes,
So,
we do.
all right. Thank you, sir. Enjoy your evening.
Thank you.
Okay, we will move on to item 8, which is animal control. At item A, updates and announcements from Animal Control Advisory Committee Chair Jennifer Puente with possible discussion and or action. Ms. Puente, do you have some general announcements?
Yes, Penny Paws will be here June 19th in the park. It's gonna be the same day as our market days.
Mhm.
And then also we'll have our next meeting on June 14th at 6:30.
Perfect. June 14 at 6:30. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Item 8B, presentation of monthly report by ACO Maldonado with possible discussion and or action. Did we not get copies of your report?
It was attached on the email.
I have one.
I have one.
You want that?
Here.
Okay, go.
So good evening,
It was
everyone.
not here in time to be put in my packet.
So we come ill prepared. Anyways, for the month of May, wasn't too busy actually. So it's very few numbers. We had 5 stray warnings, 2 citations for stray animals, 2 impounded, and 1 resolved prior to contact. We had 1 cruelty neglect case. We had 1 enforcement warning, and looks like we had 1 citation for a bite or scratch. And we had 1 impounded for a bite and scratch. The one that was cited was, the reason it wasn't impounded was because it did a home quarantine. So that's why it wasn't impounded.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would have been impounded as well. And a total for cost for service for month May was 14.
Okay.
And the total amount of animals we have currently is 10.
I'm glad the number's going down.
What happened with the puppies or the 2 moms that were pregnant?
So one of them did die. We believe it was due to complications with birth. She was a small dog. It looked like she had more than 8 puppies in there.
Yeah.
So that might have had been a complication.
The other one was not that she was pregnant. We had the one dog on Prelude Pass that had the 4 puppies. And then we had the pit bull that was picked up that had the 1 puppy.
There you
Right.
go.
She had bit somebody. She had a puppy with her.
Yes.
That's the reason she had bit somebody. And yeah, she already had the puppy. And that's all the puppies we could
Okay.
find was just that one. So
But the ones from Prelude Pass have moved to a rescue, is that correct?
yes, those are gone. Those
Yeah.
are not in our custody anymore.
Are there any issues that you're struggling with today that with any open cases that you have, any of the animals in custody, anything that you need?
I mean, it's up to the court. It's not up to me whether those cases get.
Do you know how many cases you have on the docket
I do not.
for any? How many open citations that haven't gone before court? You don't know?
No.
Okay.
What happened with the dogs from Bear County?
The
Oh,
ones
do
from
we still have
yesterday
them? No, this was from like last month. We had 3 dogs.
from Bear County.
They had Bear County cases open and we were holding them.
You talking about the cruelty cases?
I think so.
Yeah.
They were like the pit bulls.
Oh, okay. The pit bulls. Yeah, we still have those.
I wish the marshal was still here, or the chief was still here. If he's still here, if he could come back, I'd like to ask him a question about
Do you
that.
have any need for rawhide shoes for the dogs to keep them happy? Or do you, no, it keeps them, calms them down, gives them something like chewing gum, you know?
Yeah, because they're chewing up their bowls pretty badly.
Right, do you need any bowls?
Yes.
What kind
You
do you
need
want, stainless
bowls?
steel or
Like
stainless
bowls?
steel? Because I noticed they chew those plastic
Like
ones
chew
up.
them.
right?
Toys
They
too.
do. They-
Yeah, they eat them.
Rawhide.
It's not good for 'em.
No, and they make holes in them.
I'll get you some shoes, donate them, and I'll get you some bowls.
Yeah,
I'll buy.
stainless steel are preferred.
Which one?
What
Stainless
size
steel?
do you want? About a 10-inch bowl?
Yeah, the bigger the better.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Would 8 of each be enough?
Oh yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. Got like 8 slots there, right?
Yes.
Chief Lopez, I asked you to come back. I did want to ask you, Ms. Puente had brought up a question about the animal cruelty cases we still have in custody.
Mhm.
I know you and I have talked about working with the district attorney's office since they're their cases. It's kind of unfair for us to have to contain these animals until that case is decided.
Mhm.
Have you gotten any feedback from the DA's office on what options are available to us for those animals?
Obviously, when I talked to the ADA or the district attorney, they said it's pretty much up to our discretion when it comes to the animals. Obviously, finding these dogs a new home and things like that. Obviously, there's a reason why there's an animal cruelty case charged on any individual. So at that time, obviously, we there's a liability. We cover ourselves of those issues of finding those dogs a better home, a proper home. So,
Right.
Is
there is the casework done? Is it sufficiently done to support what the DA needs to prosecute?
Yeah, everything's once the district attorney accepts it, and then then they move forward, with everything that's been backlogging for a long time. That could I don't know when it's gonna continue to move forward.
What do we
So-
even have them?
Well, so my thought was, if you two have done your due diligence in documenting the casework appropriately,
Mhm.
and the DA is comfortable with saying, okay, we have what we need, we do not necessarily need the animals anymore, I would say let's work on a rescue or transport if they are socialized, if they're able to be adopted out.
Could we get that in writing?
From the DA's office?
Yeah.
They're not gonna tell us how to.
If we just get a statement from them that says, yes, we have the case, we have, we don't need anything from you, and, it's your property to take care of.
We may dispose of it at our discretion.
All they can, as long as they can give us that assurance, then I think we can move forward with doing something with those animals.
We have photo and video of the animals.
And they're healthy.
They're healthy now, yes.
Yes.
They're healthy now.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
As long as we don't run into any liability for getting rid of those dogs.
I can guarantee the owner's not gonna pay the impound fees,
Yeah.
and we should move them into a rescue.
No,
organization.
I'm in agreement with that. I just don't want us to incur any.
Ms. Ortiz, do you know, would we have, if we decided to move them out of our facility, is there an obligation that we contact the original owner as an option to get them back? Let's leave that question there first.
I think if they've been contacted, you need to provide, or there needs to be some due diligence in finding the owner, but the owner has a limited amount of time to get the animal. Otherwise, if there's nothing else in writing or by ordinance or any other rule or policy of the city, then no.
My thought was they were brought in on a cruelty case. It doesn't seem to make sense to
Yeah, and
give them back.
I agree with
that may be,
And we're feeding them, they're ours.
yeah, that
Well,
may
we've had them in custody for 4 months.
Yeah, we've been feeding them.
Yeah.
that may be and that may be up to the court too, if they've been prosecuted, or depending on what happened with the citation and what they pled to. If the court had any ruling on it, then that could be a court decision too.
Did
or
that,
whatever.
did we cite them here or did the DA's office take the case in total? Do we have any skin in the game on this one?
I don't believe there was any citations issued for that.
Okay,
No,
not from our department.
They were
Okay.
just seized for gives us the right to seize those animals for that.
For that reason, yeah.
Did the DA's office or the county give any other guidance on what to do with the animals? Other
They said it was up to our discretion.
It's our discretion, I would say.
then
Put them in a foster.
yeah, then if that's the direction they gave, then yeah, then I don't think you would need to contact the owner then
Okay.
Let's
have them
adopt
come get the
that.
animal or give the opportunity.
Yeah, I agree. I think we needed to move forward with that. Chris, can you maybe start? I know tomorrow's Friday, but can you kind of work on that and get them out?
Already have.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Okay, any other questions? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Any additional questions for Chris Maldonado?
No, thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
This is my favorite part.
This is your favorite part? We're not done yet. Hold on.
We got one more.
Hold on.
Item 9, Public Works. Item A is updated announcements from Park Advisory Committee Chair Tom Rapina with possible discussion and/or action. Do you have any general announcements?
Only that we have a meeting next Tuesday. It should be a good meeting. We have some things about 12-step groups going to be talked about in that meeting, and discussion on how to come up with rules and maybe pricing for
Community Center?
the community center.
So meeting on Tuesday, that would be the 15th.
Right.
Okay,
And that's
and that would be at 6:30.
correct.
Okay. I do want to add something to this because we do have the community yard sale that's happening on the 19th.
Oh, that's correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've been having lots of conversations with our activities director, Ms. Sarmiento. We've never officially adopted a name for that event, but the consensus is that the term market days is confusing. So we came up with a couple of different things, but I think we settled on community yard sale. We talked about another one, which was the Sandy Flea Market. The Sandy Flea. But the community yard sale, I think will work. But anyway, that will be happening on Saturday, the 19th as well. Oh, there was one more thing. Let me go ahead and adjourn and then I'll make one other thing that's not on the agenda.
Penny Paws will be in the.
They'll be there on the 19th as well.
Oh, good. I was gonna
Actually,
ask-
Mayor, since you have a quorum, anything not on the agenda can't be discussed with a quorum, even if the meeting.
I'm gonna adjourn and then I just want to share about the medals.
Is that all right?
Can I do that?
As long as we don't take leverage.
There is no action required. It's informational only.
You could probably do that under the mayor's and administrator announcements if it's like a community,
Okay.
community.
Well, then I'm going to move back up to item 3. Just to make an announcement that our Fiesta medals are in. I picked them up yesterday, and they are available for sale here at City Hall during business hours. They're $10. At the community yard sale, we will also set up a table and sell the new medals and last year's medals as well. So you have 2 options to buy. And there are no freebies this year. I take that back. There were 3 freebies this year. Each of the design winners got a free medal, but nobody else gets a free medal. So, and that includes the police chief. I had to tell him no.
Bought one.
Well, I know, and that's good because we're supporting a scholarship here. So anyway, that's all I have. And it is 7:25 PM, and we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Are
Good
they
night, everyone.
trying to fix the roof? Have they started?